In today's video, we'll go over Maltego versus SpiderFoot. We're going to dive deep into two of the biggest names in the world of open source intelligence, or OSINT. You know, for any threat analyst, investigator, or cybersecurity pro, the whole game is about turning a mountain of data into actual, usable intelligence. So the big question is, which tool is the right one for your mission?
So let's just start with the core problem we're all trying to solve here. As Mario Rojas from Maltego puts it, security teams are absolutely drowning in data. I mean, it's just this constant flood of alerts and potential threats, right? Without the right tools, you're not just looking for a needle in a haystack. You're completely lost in the haystack itself. And that's exactly where these specialized OSINT tools become so critical.
Okay, so let's jump into our first contender, Maltego. The best way to think about Maltego is to picture a digital detective. It was developed by Paterva way back in 2007, and its entire philosophy is built around visual link analysis. Basically, deep, hands-on investigation. This isn't about casting a wide net, it's about meticulously following specific threads to see where they lead.
You know, the easiest way to really get what Maltego does is to imagine a classic detective's corkboard, you know? The one with all the photos and notes and red string connecting all the clues? Well, Maltego is basically that, but digitized for our world. It's designed for an analyst to manually explore, pivot, and visualize all the connections between bits of info that at first glance seem totally unrelated.
And here you can see Maltego in action. It's pretty cool. You start with just one thing, in this case, a person, Rick Grimes, and an investigator can visually map out every single connection to email addresses, domains, other accounts, you name it. This isn't just some boring list of data. It's a living, breathing web of relationships. It helps you uncover links you would literally never spot on a spreadsheet.
So, Maltego is built on a few core ideas. At its heart is that graphical link analysis we just saw. But the real magic, the secret sauce, comes from something called transforms. Think of them as special queries that turn one piece of information into another. So you might start with an IP address, you run a transform, and boom, it automatically pulls in DNS records and who-wis data and connects them right on your graph. And with access to over 58 data sources and great collaboration features, it can scale all the way from a free community edition to a full-blown enterprise suite.
All right, now let's switch gears and look at a totally different approach. Meet SpiderFoot. If Maltego is that meticulous digital detective connecting clues one by one, then SpiderFoot is the automated dragnet. It's built for breadth, for speed, and for just sucking in as much data as it possibly can.
SpiderFoot's philosophy is fundamentally different from Maltego's. It's built to automate the heck out of the process, querying hundreds of online sources all at the same time. You just give it a target, say a domain name, an IP address, or an email, and it just casts this massive automated net to see what it can pull back, building a really complete profile with very little manual effort.
This OSINT framework map really gives you a sense of the sheer scale we're talking about here. SpiderFoot is designed to try and touch on as many of these different nodes as possible, and it does it automatically. It's querying everything from usernames and social media profiles to DNS records and data breach info. The goal is simple: collect as much data as possible to map a target's entire digital footprint.
So what's driving this whole engine? Well, at its core, it's an automated scanner that uses over 200 different modules, and each one is designed to query a specific data source. The cool part is, it doesn't just dump a bunch of raw data on you, it generates these detailed reports and even gives you risk scores for certain findings. It plugs into key APIs like Shodan and VirusTotal, and you've got two main ways to use it: a free open source version you can host yourself, or the super convenient SaaS platform, SpiderFoot HX.
Okay, so let's put them side by side. On one hand, we have the deep visual investigator. On the other, the broad automated scanner. How do they really stack up when you look at workflow, their strengths, and of course, the cost?
The user experience for these two tools is like night and day. Seriously. With Maltego, you are completely hands-on. You're physically dragging things onto a graph and deciding which transforms to run. It's an active, exploratory process. SpiderFoot, on the other hand, is much more set it and forget it. You set up your scan, you hit run, and then you come back later to analyze a comprehensive report in a web dashboard. Their strengths and weaknesses are almost perfect opposites of each other. It's kind of funny. Maltego gives you this unbelievable visual mapping and flexibility for really complex cases, but all that power comes with a pretty steep learning curve and, yeah, a high price tag. Now, on the flip side, SpiderFoot is super fast, it's affordable, and it covers a huge amount of ground automatically.
The trade-off? Well, it's way less visual, it can generate a lot of noisy data or false positives, and it's really built for reviewing reports, not for that hands-on exploration.
And let's talk about that price tag for a second. For Maltego's Professional Edition, you're looking at a starting price of around $6,600 per user per year. This is a serious investment. It's a tool for dedicated investigators and teams with a real budget.
And then, in stark contrast, you've got the hosted version of SpiderFoot, SpiderFoot HX. Its paid plans start at around $50 a month. 50. And of course, let's not forget, the self-hosted version is totally free if you've got the server to run it on. This makes SpiderFoot way more accessible for a much wider range of folks and organizations. So, at the end of the day, this isn't really a question of which tool is better. It's about which tool is right for the specific mission you're on. Because honestly, they're designed for very different jobs.
You can really see their distinct roles when you look at the best use cases. You reach for Maltego when you need investigative depth, things like mapping out a threat actor's entire infrastructure or doing really complex corporate intelligence. But you use SpiderFoot when you need automated breadth, like for rapid recon on a target or for continuously monitoring your own company's attack surface. Look, if you take away just one thing from this whole thing, let it be this. Maltego is for finding and understanding the connections between things. SpiderFoot is for finding all the things in the first place. One gives you depth, the other gives you breadth. In a lot of mature security teams, they're not even seen as competitors. They're complementary tools in the same toolbox.
So as you plan your next move, just ask yourself this one simple question. Is your next investigation about finding that one critical needle? Or is it about mapping the entire haystack first? Your answer right there is going to tell you exactly which tool you should be reaching for.